Okay, day 7. 1 week, exactly 1 week of coding my startup for Salesforce ecosystem. Glad that you watch it. Thank you for watching. What we have so far is first what we are building. We are building the best Apex course for Salesforce ecosystem, and I wouldn't even call it a course. It should be something like a platform. It should take you from complete beginner to Apex Pro in interactive way, and all of that without interacting with real people. It should give you feedback to your code that you write on the platform, and we're gonna be building it with React. So far we have the complete Figma design of most pages. We have some code. We started coding the last time yesterday, and today I had a very productive, almost 2 hours meeting with Sasha, the React developer, the actual code pro. I'm gonna sit a little bit better. So we have agreed that even though he doesn't know Next.js, he's gonna take like 1 week to learn Next.js, and we're gonna develop this project properly with Next.js. And I think it's not gonna take him like 1 week. I think he's gonna do it much quicker. Okay, first I'm gonna check that my stream is actually going. Next.js, he's gonna take, and I'm gonna write everyone in the chat, welcome to the day 7. Welcome to day 7. Okay, so the plan for today is have a look at how can we get the payments quite easy. So I'm gonna switch here, and one of the payment websites that is quite popular between creators is Gumroad. The idea behind Gumroad that it easily allows you to sell something. I have sold once, so here sales. I have sold once here the subscription, and let's see, products. So this is an actual product that I was selling. I mean, there's no description there, and you can't really see it. Here we go. that's the project that I was selling, and it worked well. I still didn't receive the money because they have some dates for the payout. But I think we're gonna be using Gumroad for taking payments. In ideal world, I would like to use something like Stripe for the integration, because it's something that is very convenient in terms of like coding. They are API first company, right? But for the first dirty and quick version of what we are building, Gumroad will be completely sufficient. Now the question is how to identify users that pay for the Gumroad. So the idea currently is that if you click on the link, you will be redirected to buy membership, like this one, Learn Apex Interactive Platform. I'm still working on it, and this is the idea today. That today we're gonna have a look at the Gumroad if we can actually use it. And another thing that I finished yesterday is Vercel. I deployed the first version of just a skeleton, just like generic version of my app, and if we go there, we can see modules, and we can see that they are interactive, and we can see that we can navigate between modules. Anything else doesn't work, but I finally actually understood how to work with navigations, and everything looks great. So that works. You go up. Okay, modules, and here we have also sign in, and this sign in is used by Clerk. And one of the things that we were speaking with Sasha, that this authorization thing, we might actually wanna just write it on our own, because if in future this platform will have some kind of interactive, like gamification, like Trailhead has some badges or something, then we're gonna need to have our own custom data for the users, and we don't really know if Clerk supports custom data for users. So this is what we have so far, and the idea is that this week we are learning all the other stuff. Like we are learning, Sasha will be learning Next.js, and I will be learning. So if I go to the GitHub, my profile, if I go to the GitHub, I can see here the backend. So this is the backend that Sasha is using for authenticating to Salesforce. And this is something that I have no idea how to do with React. So this is something that we're gonna need to do. If it's gonna be today, I don't think so. So for today, the idea is to do with to see the Gumroad, and let's see if we can actually do what I want on the Gumroad. Because one of the problems with Gumroad, let's say someone pays for it, I can't just send a link to them, right? So I need to have some kind of unique identifier for users, so that I can match the users to the users on the site, right? So that's something that I don't know. Another thing that Gumroad allows to set up the tiers automatically, and this is where I stopped. So let's compare what tiers did we agree here in our Figma design. Let's see. So we have $50 per month, and we have $150 per month. So this is tier 1, and let's call this tier beginner. And here it's gonna be access to all videos and written material. Maximum number, we don't have any maximum number, and it's gonna be 50 per month. And per year, I don't want to do like 3 months or something, which we actually could do, right? So because it's a Gumroad, like what prevents us from? But let's actually make less choices. And you know what? I found out that apparently 47 converts better than 50, which is a really interesting insight. But there's something that I read on the internet. There's apparently some studies that show that let's take 3 price tiers, right? 50, 49, and 47. 50 performs the worst, 49 performs better, and 47 performs much better. Whatever it means, I'm gonna be just following. I'm not reinventing here anything new. So I'm just following what smart people say on the internet. And let's say 47 by 12, that's gonna be 500 something. We can make it with 30% discount. That's gonna be this number, and we can round it up to the bigger number so that it converts better. 300, that would be 397. 397. Oh, no, I'm not allowing customer pay what they want. And another tier would be advanced. Full access to all features, videos, written text, and all tasks with automatic feedback. And price will be 147 per month. And if we multiply, that's going to be something like this. But I think we agreed that we're going to be making a huge discount if you want to take it for the whole year, and we're gonna make it 997 per year. Okay, and free trial. I don't wanna offer free trial on purpose, because the free trial would be this 47 bucks. So I don't know. I'm not a big. I do offer free trials for people in my mentoring program, but that's because it's high ticket. It's because it's like if you take the mentoring, it costs either 500 or 1,000 a month, and yeah, kind of like paying like this for a guy that you don't know is kind of strange. So I'm offering, but for something digital product, I don't know. I don't feel like it's a good thing to offer free trial here. Members will lose access when their membership ends. Yes. To all your posts you have published. Yes. But this is something strange. Okay, publicly show the number of members of your product. And here's this is the interesting part. So generate a unique license key per sale, and this is something that I don't know how it works, but it sounds like that's exactly what we are searching for. And default payment frequency a month. Yes, that sounds right. Save and continue. And content, don't really need any content. Share category others. Do I have education? Coding. Programming. No, not the one. Social studies, specialties, test prep. Nothing of that really. Definitely not science. Specialities, whatever. I'm not sure what the specialities, but whatever. Doesn't really matter. Save changes. I mean, no one gonna be discovering this thing on the camera road, because you need to know Apex, Salesforce in order to get here. Okay, monthly, yearly. Looks good. The interactive, yearly, year, beginner, just all advanced. Nice. Now the question is, so if we take monthly, the question is, can we somehow identify people who are subscribing to it? Like, yeah, exactly. What is license key? Important. Our license key verification requires product ID parameter instead of for all products. Okay. Let's read it. Let's read what are license key for. Yes, this is exactly what I need. This is exactly what I need. License API calls. Well, I hope. Okay, so this is licenses verify, and then verify, and then I put their product, and then a license key. I hope I need to be authenticated for that. I would expect some kind of token or something to send here as well, because otherwise you can just brute force. Well, I mean, the customers don't really know the customer key, right? Or will they know? So how does it work? Do they actually get it? Like, the question is, do the customers get this key so that they can write it somewhere, or do we get it somehow automatically? No, we don't probably, right? One of the things that I don't understand is how do we actually get this license key? Is it something they are sending us via webhook? I don't think so, right? Yeah, well, I have here product ID, but how do we get it? I'm gonna copy here. Oops. I'm gonna copy here the product ID, just in case. Let's read again. Okay, they immediately go into multi, okay. Yeah, but how do we get this? How do we get this license key? Like, is it something that user gets, or is it something that is generated automatically on the API and I should query those things? I don't think so. Like, so from my understanding, it should work like this. The key is getting generated, and it is shown to the user. So the user can copy it and paste into my... No, that sounds strange. Like, I don't remember any website having having the same workflow where you have to first get some kind of key and then copy paste it. I think we're gonna need to try it out. I think we're gonna need to try it out. Not this one, but we're gonna need to try out this thing, preview. And let's say I'm gonna subscribe to this one. This will be a test purchase. Yep, I'm gonna pay this one, and this doesn't really matter. I'm gonna be paying. Your purchase was successful. We chart your card and send the recipe to Eager Cloud Prism. You will receive an email when there is a new content. With this test purchase, you do not have charged. Need invoice for this? Generate. This was test purchase. Generate. Okay, if I click on this view content, aha, I get here a license key. I think this is... Recipe. I think this is exactly what we need. Opening an app. What is this? What do you mean? Gumroad. Oh wow, I have an app. Wow, they have an app. That's awesome. Okay, so that's interesting. So the user will get this API key, and I'm gonna save this one as well. And let me check my email. I think first I'm gonna check it in another tab because I don't want to show my whole email. Okay. Okay, and they have, so here's how it looks. Here's how it looks. They send here license key immediately. This is really nice. This is really nice because if you put this license key while you're registering, we kind of make it mandatory, and this way we can set up really easy selling with the Gumroad. Super nice. I love it. I think it solves the payment problem. So I think we just, when we're gonna be creating this registration form for the user, and this is something in the future because we still need to create a database. We don't even have a database. So when we're going to be creating this, just instead of having like email and while registering, like email and username, we're just gonna have email, username, and license key. So that's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. Okay, can close it. Okay, so I would say we have the payment part approximately understood. So yeah, I would say that's good, and we can actually count off this part. Okay, checking as always, checking the stream. If the stream is actually going, yeah, the stream is actually working. Okay. Okay, so we have those things. Good. What's next? I think I can close. We won't need it until we actually have the backend or front end for that. I'm gonna close this. I'm gonna close this as well, and I'm gonna start here. I'm gonna start the front end for terminal npm run dev. That starts here, modules, and we can go to modules, to variables, and we don't really have anything in variables. So I think like this is good enough. Okay, we have pricing module. One of the things that I was doing is that I basically had here module item component, and this component accepts here module name and link, and when I click on it, it navigates into the link. And the hovering part, I also had to do those things here, a little bit of JavaScript, but that's fine. And so I have here, and then I have a module list, and this module list, it basically, we have here different modules, and then in the map, we're kind of, so map is basically just like the, oh, you can see it. You can't really see it up. Map is just basically a way to iterate through something. So here we create a lot of different module items, and then I have the syntax module. And if we look at the Figma design that we have, is that those two elements, they're basically the same. So here we have all modules, and here we have module 1, right? But they're basically using the same thing. So we can try to make it more better, because here I've been just basically copy pasting the same, just those things are different. So I would make this module list. I want to make these modules dynamic so that I can accept it as a parameter here into the component. And the navigation part that I was struggling yesterday, it's actually quite interesting. It goes here here with a, so for example, if you want to create modules and then syntax, if you want to create such a path, so it's going to be a slash module slash syntax, then we're going to need to put modules and then the folder syntax, and in this folder we can put the index.tsx. Quite interesting approach. I'm not so sure if it's the best practice though. I'm not so sure. So let me ask ChatGPT. And I created here a GPT. It's called Next Chester. It's actually it's basically it basically explains React stuff with the idea that I am a Salesforce developer. So I'm gonna go and make a screenshot out of it and say I have following folder structure. Is it a best practice for creating navigation in Next.js? Let's see. Yeah, of course I'm using Clink. Yes, that's true. To implement navigation, the navigation works. Something that I'm concerned about is that is it okay to have index.tsx everywhere? Like, I don't know, like that looks for me very strange where I have index.tsx, index.tsx. Like, what the hell is that? Like, so what I know, what we have in Salesforce, right? In Salesforce, we, our best practice is not to name components in the same way, right? So for me, it looks like 3 components that are named in the same way, which is very strange for me. I don't know. Okay, so ChatGPT says that it's good. I mean, okay. Whatever you say, ChatGPT, I trust you. I mean, I trust more Sasha, so I think Sasha will hopefully help me to see if that's correct or not. So we have the index.tsx, and this index.tsx uses syntax module. And in the syntax module, I want to make this modules list so that instead of doing this, I create here constant topics, and then I just pass into this constant. So but first, modules list. First I need to convert this thing, I need to convert it into the parameter. And I know how to do that, but I don't know how to do it for a list. So let's ask, can you convert modules into parameters so that I can pass it dynamically into my component. Okay, so I was a little bit distracted because I was checking the stream again. Okay, it started using emojis. It's strange, it was not using it before. So oh, like this, the modules. So just like this, we just pass it here as a parameter. I don't think so, because we need to define the type, right? Don't we need to define the type of modules? Like this is what I know, that we need to define the type of modules. And the modules list will be called from, I think, this one. Yeah, from the module list. So I'm gonna put the constant here, and here we're gonna be putting modules equal to modules. This is something that I understand how to do, and then we also need to okay, we already have it imported. Okay, so module list, I think. So what I would do is to define here either type or interface like this. Type module. No, this is not what I want. Modules, I want modules to be, yeah, exactly. I want it to have the array type, a list of modules, and module will be name and link. I wonder if we can somehow reuse this one. Is it the way we do it? No. Let's see. Gonna close all of that stuff so we can navigate more easily. Yeah, okay, this is the definition. Modules. Looks like a proper one. Those are my module items. Can we reuse the interface / type in module item component? Because I don't know if that's the best practice, but this is what I would do in Salesforce. I would just take this module item and I would put it here. Modules, I would say modules has the type of module items. And then we have a list of module items. Absolutely, you can and should reuse the module across different components if they are meant to represent the same data structure. Yeah, it's great way consistency. So it suggests us putting it into a separate file, types, right? Types.ts. Do we already have that? Where do I put types.ts so that it... Can you say again what you did? What do you mean, where exactly? Because I've done a lot of different stuff here. What I did yesterday. Where do I put types so that it is the best practice? The best practice src and then types. So not even under pages. So it's on the same level with pages. Let's do that. Types. And types.ts. Right? So say types.ts and export type module. Okay, so this is going to be our module. Okay, name and link. That looks good. And then in this module, about the module list. So with the module list, if you mean, can you say again what you did about the module list? So I just created, so here's how it works. We have here the component that is just, so this is the navigation component basically. And this navigation component, it instantiates this module list component, and then this module list component, it iterates through individual items, because basically the items, this is just one item, so it makes sense to create one item, and then the list, that would be just the collection of those items. So here just few like tailwind stuff, like the font that we are using. I'm not sure how to apply the font for the whole page. And then flags and blah blah blah, that's not that important. The most important that here we iterate through module item, and this module item we write here, and this is the actual item, and here we define all the hovering stuff and images and the navigation itself. And then when we navigate here to the syntax page, for example, and that's how it works. And that's how it looks. So for example, if we go to modules, we click here and it navigates us to the modules syntax. Hope that helps. So let me know if you have some like more concrete questions. Okay, so we're gonna be now in the module item. Instead of using this interface, as far as I understand, we need to import the type from types. So we need to do import and we called it module from, not interfaces, types. And here that would be name and link, right? Just thinking about how exactly should I, like, the question is, should I import types.ts I think no. But then I need to do types, and then types or something like this. Okay, they name it modules. They name it modules. Okay, let's call it, I think it makes sense to call it modules. Thank you for, yeah. Are you in Salesforce Development or are you React developer? You can believe how much I can't wait to see the final project, the final version. But there's still a lot of work. Okay. So I'm gonna call it modules, and then it's easier because now I know that here I'm gonna import modules, right? But the path is probably still wrong, so I need to see how I navigate back. So this is, we are in the module item. How many steps do we need to go back? So we have module. Module 1 to the component. Let's see, can React help me? Aha, it can. Okay, components. I think I need to do one more. Yes, types, and then modules. Yes, that's the right import. Okay. And then here module, I'm gonna call it here module. And here it's going to be link, and it's going to be name. No errors. Looks good. And then here, instead of passing the name, we're gonna be passing the link. Now we still don't fix our issue that, okay, in module we now imported from the modules. Now another thing though, that we need to import it from. Now in this list we need to create modules, right? Oh my god, This is how they suggest, right? This is what I would expect, actually, like with my Salesforce knowledge that we have here, but we also need to import it, right? So I'm gonna import it. But the best part that we are importing in the same way, so don't need to think about importing it. Yeah, module. All imports in the declaration are only used as types. Use import type. That's what you want? Import type? Interesting. You're graphic and visual identity designer, but I have some knowledge of website programming, and I love watching programmers like you, how they analyze problems and solve them. It gives me more. Yeah. Well, feel free to criticize my my visual my visual parts. I'm definitely not a designer. Gives more motivation to be creative. Yeah. I definitely I learned to appreciate the part of the designing and visuals much more, because something that as developer you don't really like, you just usually get something already ready, right? And you're like, whatever, like I can program it. It's not such a big deal, right? What's the problem of creating a header, for example? I'm just gonna place here and here and here and all done. But when you actually try to do the design and you're staring on the just on the whiteboard, and you're like, okay, how do I actually create the design now? So So graphic design is actually so much harder, and I think a lot of developers really underestimate how hard it is to come up with a good design and good user experience. We have modules list. Let's see. Seems to work to some degree. Name, link. It works. Modules, syntax. It does work. Nice, nice. And here I'm gonna put variables. Module link. Module list. Okay, now I have hard times myself to understand how it works. Let me just speak through what we have, because I kind of lost the overview. I am still getting used to this React components. In Salesforce, that's not at all how we're doing that. Syntax module. So we have the main entry point with syntax module. And I'm still using here module item, which I should not be using. Instead of that, I should be placing here module list and pass the topics there. And instead of topics, that's going to be called, I'm going to rename it and call it items. And here I'm going to call it topics, because those are topics. And let's call it classes, and let's call it objects, and let's call it loops here. Loops module list, and import module list from here. And I think it's called modules list. And yes, I know that they don't have the items, so I'm gonna rename it now to items, and here items as well. And here it should be item, because it's not only module now, right? So we cannot really call it module. We need to call it item. Items. Items here. Here we go, items. I'm gonna remove components that we're not using, like link and image here. And we have module item, which is the individual item. And we have modules list, which uses those items. Okay, so those two, they kind of go together, but this is a little bit separate, right? Because it should be, yeah, this is a little bit separate. We could actually, why am I putting it here? We don't need this at all. We can put it here. So, yeah, exactly. Because what we are having here, we have here a syntax module, and then syntax module only has this thing. So I'm gonna remove this part and I'm gonna put it here. Module list, and then I also need to take the topics here. And first I'm gonna say import. No, that's not correct. This thing. Then the second I'm going to import module list. And now I can actually delete this file, don't need it. Syntax module, I don't need it anymore. So now we have, I think now we have much leaner structure, because we have module list and we are reusing this module list. Not really. Module list. Can we just go to the page and see if I click on module. Okay, if I already click on modules, they're already a problem, and it should be called items. That's why it should be called items. Here we go. Now we use the same thing for multiple things. I like it, and we use it for this one. And what is the URL? Modules variables. Awesome. Modules. Yeah, that seems like something that is working. Now my biggest question will be actually the backend. How can we take this thing and how can we combine it with the backend? And for the backend, what I have so far, I'm gonna show you what I have so far. So if we go to the GitHub profile, repositories, backend. So for the backend, we are using Next.js. Not Next.js, Express.js. And it has those things like middlewares, helpers, and blah blah blah, routes, API. This is the authentication part. So this is something that I have really not that much idea about. Like, I don't know Express.js. I didn't really use it. I have approximate idea what they're doing, but I have hard times to understand this whole thing. So my next step would be actually trying to understand the backend and how can we, because I am quite confident now with how I can combine, how I can write front end, right? Because from now on we can just go on and continue just writing those modules. We're gonna be creating much more modules, right? But that's not the problem. I think it's quite clear how to do that. Now the question is how to combine the Next.js with the front end. No idea. No idea. First, what I want to do is I want to understand, we have here public, we have SRC, and we have here something called server. This is from the app that I copied, but I don't think that it is the server. It's for me it looks like routes. It looks like it's some kind of like middleware between the backend and the front end, right? Routes, post, and here we can. And here somehow it should, I don't know, what is hello create server API. Okay, let's ask ChatGPT. Let's say, or first, before we ask ChatGPT, what are we actually going to build with the backend, right? We can't just go and like learn what does it mean to learn connection. We need to have some kind of like actual goal how to learn it, right? So we need to have something that we're going to be practicing. And what I want to practice is probably connecting to the Salesforce. Now in Salesforce, if you have ever worked with Salesforce authentication is, wow, it's not easy. It is hard. Basically, Sasha has spent the whole 2 weeks trying to implement the authentication to Salesforce. So it's kind of hard, and this is what we're gonna be doing. So the way I want to authenticate to Salesforce, I want to have here not only sign in, I also want to have here a button for signing to the Salesforce. And I'm gonna call this button connect. Maybe I could place this button somewhere. So this button, this is, if we go to the Figma design that I have, something that we're gonna have here, right? Logout org and also login org. But for now, for the testing purpose, because I want to understand how to combine the backend and frontend, I'm gonna put here another button. So this thing is probably in the index. No, it's not in the index. It should be in the header, right, in the header. And here I have sign in button, and here I'm gonna add another one, div, and I'm gonna say connect. And that should be a link, this type of link. And ref will be let's say auth to, I don't know if that's correct, but let's see. And I'm gonna call it connect, and our text will be this one, class name, our text, connect. Okay, now that looks for me a little bit that they are kind of smashed together. We can take this spacing here as well. And okay, let's resize this and see if that works. Yeah, connect. And I would call it connect org, because Salesforce instances. So now I realize that actually people who are watching me might have no idea about Salesforce. So in Salesforce we have orgs, organizations, sandboxes, we can call it, like instances. There are a lot of names for basically describing one thing. Okay, we have connect org, and this connect org will put us into the backend, and the backend will be authenticating to Salesforce. I have there a design for authentication in Salesforce, and I want to show you. This is before we started streaming. This is something that I worked out with Sasha. So the way the whole authentication process is going to work. It's like this. We have the main page, and this is our old main page. Now we have a different one. We're gonna be using GSForce library for authentication, and we have already pre-made sandbox with the connected app. This is special Salesforce thing with the connected app, and this connected app will be using with the client ID and client credentials that are basically hard-coded on the backend for authenticating first to our sandbox, and then this sandbox will give us the URL, the special URL, this one. And this URL, this is something that we can use already to redirect the user. So we can redirect the user to this one, and this is where the user can authenticate with a username and password. And we're gonna get access token once the user does that, and we're gonna save this token here into the state of our app, and we're gonna be using this token to run tests. So that's the idea. That's the idea, and as you see, it's a little bit not as straightforward as it might be with other stuff. So okay, connected org. So first I want to understand how can we actually run this thing auth to and let's ask for the ChatGPT. Let's say I want to implement Express.js authentication to Salesforce with a button in the header. I have no idea about Express.js, but I will be using one. How could I set up Express.js so that I can test out the redirection from Next.js app to my backend. What are the best practices? Do we need do we need to have some kind of routing in the Next.js or middleware? Or middleware. Here's my code. Kind of like throwing so many questions on ChatGPT. I hope it's not gonna get overwhelming. So we created here a GPT called Next.jester, and I said in the configuration that it should be slightly humorous. So it should be a little bit funny. And as you see here, it really tries. It tries to say a joy for any developer to use, and then adding emojis. So I guess the definition of funny for ChatGPT would be using emojis. And yeah, let's see. But I actually like the personality of this GPT, and it's crazy how much of a difference you can make if you just tweak the personality of GPT a little bit, and then even if it's not that funny, like even if it's cringy, it's really cool to see not just straightforward answers from GPT. Keep up doing this awesome work. Thank you for commenting. Thank you for watching. This is actually crazy because a lot of people are actually watching the streams. So thank you everyone. Thank you. I'm really glad that you're watching this. Now it gives me super much of code. This is not what exactly I want. I want to understand the concept of where do I put my backend. Like, I know that I'm gonna need to run it on the local host, and I know that I'm gonna need to run it on some other port that I'm running the front end now, right? So I'm on the 3000. But the question is like, do I put it in the same folder? Do I put it in a different folder? Sasha told me that the best practice for Next is that we put front end and back end in different folders. Okay. Let's see if ChatGPT says the same. I mean, I believe Sasha. So I believe Sasha. I never question Sasha. Sasha knows much more than me. So I'm gonna believe him. Okay, so front end, this is what I'm interested. I'm interested in this front end setup with Next.js. Proxy requests. What are proxy requests? I've got no idea what a proxy request. Like that's the thing. I wish I had ChatGPT when I was learning how to code. I wish. Like, this is so awesome to explaining things. Yes, I am also kind of cheating a little bit by using it, right? But it really explains. So I have no idea what are proxy requests. I kind of assume I don't really know, but I think that this is kind of something that will take the Next.js request or redirections, and it's gonna actually form the request to the backend. But I'm not sure how it looks. Use Next.js middleware or get server-side props, get initial props. Token management. This is something that I'm built doing. So this is the thing with ChatGPT. Whenever you ask for best practices, sometimes it just answers you like super generic stuff, like error handling, like implement error handling. Like, wow, thank you. As if I didn't know that I need to implement this. Proxy request. Okay, let's see. Procures journal technique challenge. Oh, this is actually, so cross the region problems. This is actually something that we had. Yeah, it's using 3001. Interesting. It says that it's using own SSR server-side rendering. This is something that I don't understand. If it's using own server, why can't we just use Next.js all the time? Why can't we just make like requests from Next.js? If it is using own server, why can't we just make requests directly from Next.js? I know it's even when I type, it sounds for me like a bad practice. But I know that in Salesforce, for example, we can do requests from LWC. So we can do that. And actually, it's not such a bad practice in LWC to have requests from the front end. Okay, so we have course. Okay, what I'm gonna ask ChatGPT is, can you create? So I just wanna try it out. I definitely don't wanna have everything. I don't wanna make requests from Next.js. I know that is not good. What I wanna do is I want to create a simple Express.js backend, like very simple, and I wanna try it to combine it with Next.js. Can you create for me the most simple Express.js server to test it with Next.js? Give me a step by step instruction on how to implement it in my app. It will be just test to see how to call backend from Next.js locally. Let's see. Environmental variables. Hey, where's what I wrote? Hey, come on, ChatGPT. Yeah, it just disappeared or what? It's good that I have a habit of copying everything that I write. I don't know if it's a good habit, but I have this habit. So whenever I write something, I'm just immediately do control. So let's say we have this. Let's say I wrote it. I immediately do Control A and then Control C to copy it, and then Control X if I don't need it, because I'm so used to ChatGPT failing those things. Okay, not only ChatGPT, like a lot of software. You write such a big thing, right? You're sitting there typing 5 minutes typing, and then when you click on sending, the whole thing freezes, and you're like, oh my God, I just spent like 5 minutes typing something, and now it's gone, and now I have to retype everything for 5 minutes. So, yeah. Okay, let's see. So they separate the servers. So I think the best approach would be is to have here on this level a separate one, and the way to do it is in a terminal, and I'm gonna create a new terminal, and let's see, what do we have here? We have applications. I think I'm gonna need to go. Oh, where is it? It's. Where did I save it? I think it's. Yeah, exactly. It's T3 test. So I'm gonna be moving T3 test. And what do they have? They have learn epics. Okay. So make directory, let's say express test. And if someone is interested, why express? Because there's an awesome library called Salesforce, and it's using Express.js as an example. I don't know, like I don't have any like, is Express.js good? Is it bad? No idea. But I know that Salesforce is using that, so I kind of assume that that's the way to go. ChatGPT, okay, so cd and now ls and cd express test. And now I need npm init y. What is npm init y? Whatever. I'm not gonna be questioning this one. I'm just gonna run it. Okay, npm install express. I think I have it already installed. But the question is, do we need to install it in the directory all the time? That would be strange. But create index.js. Express test node modules. Okay, new file express dot index.js index.js. Everywhere it's coming from the Salesforce world. It is a little bit strange for me that that everywhere we have index.js. Like in Salesforce we have one main component and we try not to have the same name, and it's kind of bad practice if you have twice index.js, for example, in Salesforce. But whatever. Whatever. And now I need to run. Is it as easy as just node index.js and port? Let's take another port. Let's take for example 4000. Node. Is that easy to run? Okay. Okay, so now I need to set up proxy requests from next to express. In your next project, install middleware. I was not prepared installing something. I feel like it goes into the wrong direction. I feel like. Wait, you... What? Why do I need to create twice? Now you'll set up a simply proxy in your Next.js development environment to route requests to Express server. What? Don't tell me ChatGPT really says to me that I need to first create it locally, the Express.js, and then I need to create it also in the Next.js. That sounds very strange. That's Next.js Express middleware. Let's Google what is this HTTP proxy middleware. Next.js, not React. Next.js. Alright, people. I think I won't be able to do it very quick now because that seems something where I need to actually look up tutorial something. I'm gonna be streaming tomorrow as well, approximately the same time. And now in 20 minutes I have a student to do the mentoring with him. So see you everyone tomorrow, and thank you for watching. Drop comments, drop likes, subscribe. See you tomorrow. Bye bye.